Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. And today you've got a very special guest that's come back on to the podcast, whatever it is. We've got Ola Wolny of selfmasteryquest.com. I just needed to check that because I said it wrong last time. I always struggle with that. Ola, how are you? How are you getting on? How has it been since I last saw you?
Oh my God, it is coming back to the best place ever. This is where it all started for me. Thank you so much for having me back. Absolutely love it. It's been great. I've been very, very busy. I've met tons of amazing people, and it's all really started coming through our first interview. So I really big sentiment to be back here. Thank you so much for having me back.
No, you're welcome. Yeah, I keep getting comments on my videos when you're getting Ola back. So
Oh,
yeah,
sweet.
the interviews definitely went down well. Um, so basically, we're going to talk about today. We're going to put more meat on the bones around a number of different topics, and one of the things that I know you wanted to speak about was this whole concept of like the holographic universe.
Hmm.
So I've got a bit of a cold and a bit of a flu, guys. So I'm not really going to say much. My throat's got razor blades. So Ola, what's your perception on this whole topic?
Yeah, bless you with the cold. I will try to explain a few things. I think it's quite useful and important to try to show the bridge, to marry those two things, because I think that there's a lot of people out there that either go into the very, very esoteric side of things, the kind of very spiritual, and then they don't really bring in the sciencey stuff, right? That side of things. And so today I'm gonna try to have more of my engineering hat on. That's my old background, right? I come from oil and gas, so I've done some engineering. Some people might know, some probably most don't, that I also have a bit of a background from quantum physics. So I'm not gonna try to bore anybody here today, but I think there's been a lot out there. There's this whole notion of holographic universe, the virtual reality, this whole matrix, right? We had new matrix coming out last year, or even more than last year now. So it is sort of back here, and I prepared a bit of some pictures to kind of give flavor to what I would like to talk about. But I think that it could be interesting to show how it all ties together with astrology, with the more esoteric things, and ultimately what the hell is going on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to see it. So yeah, go right ahead and
Okay,
share.
well then let's have a look. Let's get the technology out of the way. Hey,
We did test this before, so fingers crossed.
who knows? Who knows, right? Okay. So this picture is something that I made myself using AI. So it's sometimes useful. So what I wanted to grasp is literally the concept that I came with to you in the original chat when I was talking about this sort of construct above us, and the planets being part of it, the constellations being part of it, but overall the whole thing being controlled and steered by AI, by some kind of technology. So you see, guys, this is where I wanted to in some way present that in that form where everybody can understand. So why am I even starting from that? Well, it seems, if anybody remembers from the previous time, I do astrology, but I come into the topic from totally different angle. I do not propagate astrology as something positive. Astrology is the language of the matrix. It is the numerical, mathematical language of the matrix, and ultimately matrix is here to control us. It is narrowing us into certain deterministic reality, certain reality that we perceive, which not necessarily is the true picture of what is going on. So you see here what you have in front of you is a picture encapsulating, well, some of the planets. I don't know if you can see my mouse moving. Can you see the mouse, Tony?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, mind you, this is not the exact sort of interpretation. It is something that I think does the job. So we have the planets, we have the moon, we have the constellations. You see them sort of in some way captured here, and we have the well, the net. We have some kind of network here, which is connecting both the constellations. It is connecting the moon, the sun, the planets. It is in some way sort of holding this whole construct together. What it is technology. Ultimately, it is technology. So back to what I was talking about in the previous interview. When we look at ancient texts, this is what I've done, guys. I've spent a lot of time diving through the ancient texts, the Bibles, different geographies, because you have to expand it to cover quite a wide range of texts, whether that be the Vedas, the Bible, the Kabbalah, and those texts there. You have the Norse mythology, the Mayan mythology, the different native cultures presenting pretty much the same cosmology and the same ideas about what is happening. A lot of information coming through the Hermetic text, coming through the Gnostic text. The problem is the interpretation, not the translation, but the interpretation. So I think if you dive into Gnosis, it's pretty obvious that who the archons are, you know, whether you call them Anunnaki through the Babylonian side, whether you call them the gods, the devas, asuras through the Vedas, or whether you just call them the archons, you call them the reptilians, whatever you want to call them. However, it's pretty clear that there's been a construct put above us for control, to be able to draw upon our energy. Of course, they are mostly interested in the lowest type of emotions and vibrations, which is why they are triggering us. And the way astrology works is literally when we are born, we receive certain code, or this matrix provides us with a code in which we have our traumas written into, our experiences, certain things that will be repeating. And you know, here we are talking about being infinite beings with unlimited potential, yet this world looks the way it does, right? So what happened with the potential, unlimited potential? Well, what happened is this happened, this construct, which quite often gives the impression that you know, the flat earth kind of comes from this as well, this whole notion, because it's a firmament, it's some kind of technology. So we are in a way closed off, whether we are on a flat earth, whether we are on some kind of encapsulated area of something much bigger, which I would be leaning towards. Anyway, we seem to be in some kind of closed off environment. So you see, what I want to go into is that this technology is literally working based on broadcasting certain signals. So our mind our third eye, it's been tampered with, it's been changed, or it's been tuned in to receive these frequencies, specifically these frequencies, in order for us to be able to perceive this reality in a certain way. So you see, here it is, we have the moon, we have the planets. From that construct, there are certain waves, let's put it this way, there are certain frequencies being streamed at us, and our mind picks up on it. So the third eye acts like an antenna. So here is the mechanism which is sending that, and here we are receiving that and decoding. The mind is used to decode that information. So what is the problem with that? Well, the problem is that the mind, this is why it's called mind control, right? So whatever the mind controls, whatever the mind perceives, is what is intended for us to see. As a result of that, we call this reality virtual, or we call this reality holographic. But let's go a little bit further. It's quite interesting, because you see, this is not just deep science. You don't have to even go into science to understand this, because they talk about it from ancient times. When Jesus says that kingdom of God is within you, okay, and mind you, no Christian sitting here. However, I do go back to all the ancient texts. The kingdom of God being within you does not, it's not just, you know, this is not just meditate and sit still and you're gonna be fine. It is literally, there's a message here that there is some kind of world, which is the external, the outer reality, and there is some kind of other, inner, or other, maybe the true reality, right? So bits and bobs of information kind of being on a drip delivered to us. So what is he really saying here? Well, he's saying that there is some kind of reality that we perceive, and we believe that this is the irrefutable, the right reality, right? This is what it is. But is it? So what happened? What's really, how does that really work? Well, I think that the easiest way to imagine it is literally the TV. I mean, it's a program there as well, right? So yeah. So the TV, the reason why you see the picture in the TV is because there are small sort of squares on your TV, literally, which are programmed or which are receiving signal to either light up or not light up. So it's to make it absolutely simple, it kind of works like that. So we're looking at pixels. This is how we see the picture, and then our eyes, our brain looks at it, decodes it, and of course those pictures are moving very, very fast. This is how we see the picture moving. But you see, the problem is that as long as that is on the TV, or, you know, on TV, it's okay. We know that this is something being streamed, it's not real. So we sit, we watch, this is how it works, and it's okay. The problem starts with the fact that this is not the only place where this is happening. And this is where this whole notion of holographic universe comes in, because you see the kind of squares that you see here, the pixels, ultimately carrying information. If you watch The Matrix, if you watch the 13th Floor and all the other movies which are trying to also smuggle the information about the kind of holographic virtual reality here, well, we see the same picture. We get this. So what is that about? Well, to operate that, to operate the TV, you need the remote control, and obviously you need yourself. In order to operate this, well, you need what? Well, not the goggles, really. You kind of need the goggles. It's just a symbol of you need that third eye.
Mm-hmm.
You need some kind of technology streaming something onto your third eye. The difference is this is happening all the time. So what we ultimately see, and we perceive it as reality, we believe it, you know, for life, that this is what it is. But it is actually just the same principle. This is why, I don't know if anybody watched the 13th floor, but there is a scene in 13th floor that the guy drives a car and he sort of passes a point where it's not allowed to drive. He goes through there and he gets to this end of the road. And this is literally like the end of the game, end of the matrix. What's at the end of the matrix? Well, that's interesting, right? Because that shows you that we are participating in something that's in a way not real. So what does it mean? Are we dreaming? In a way. I wouldn't say that the reality is exactly what they told us in Matrix, meaning we are really plugged in somewhere else and here we are in some video game. The way I see it is that we are here, but we perceive a very narrow spectrum of what the reality is. We are being broadcasted, or we're receiving programs, we're receiving information which we are decoding, the mind is decoding, and we're playing it into reality. And that goes for emotions, that goes for the way, what you even see, what we deem to be physical and what not. So the only difference between those two is that here, this is a 2D picture, this is a 3D. Or so we perceive it, right? So what happens with the square when you take it to 3D? Well, what happens is it turns into cube. So then kind of starts looking like that kind of reality in 3D, right? It starts having a bit more dimension to it. And you see, when you look back, probably everybody's thinking, what is this doing here? When you look back into the mythology, into legends, there's a lot of stories out there about the mermaids, about the sirens being caught by fishermen into net. And what happens then? Well, they either die or they lose their sort of magical, metaphysical abilities. It just taken away, gone. So what's happening? What is it about? Well, if you look at this net, isn't it very similar to what I'm showing you here? Isn't it very similar to this? You see, mythology is not a story from 2003 or 5,000 years ago of people who had no clue. There is absolutely no difference other than, well, censorship, right? Just as big today as 2, 3, 5,000 years ago. So they came up with legends. The problem is we don't understand the legends. We don't understand how to read them. We take them as fairy tales for children. They're not. So you see, the mermaids, meaning those creatures that were bordering between this, let's say, physical, normal world as we know it, and something more, something metaphysical, something spiritual. They had those abilities until they got caught in a net. Just like we are. Look at that. Yeah. Look at that. We are caught in a net. How? By this. By this. So when I talk about astrology, what is astrology? Astrology is explaining to you in what way and what programs are being streamed specifically for you. Mm-hmm. This is why every chart is different. This is why not every single one of us is the same like the rest, right? We are a little bit different. We're gonna have, but everybody has the same theme. There's gonna be a trauma. There's gonna be a drama. You know, there's gonna be a difficulty in life. A lot of it will keep repeating itself. Why? Because the astrology is going to capture specifically those, special effects for you,
Yeah, right.
So for example, I might have issues with authority, and Tony will have some kind of different issues that will keep repeating itself over and over again. And the funny thing is that you're gonna go to therapy or even to a new age circle, right? And you're gonna be told, well, you're gonna have to let go. When you work through that, it's gonna stop happening. I'm here to tell you, it will never stop happening. It will not stop happening. Why? Because you always carry in yourself, that signal will always be sent to you. That signal will always be sent to you. So the only difference, the only thing that you can change here, do not engage, do not react, do not play the game, right? So when you're receiving that signal, you can either try to give the situation a happy ending this time round, get really pissed off, give up the energy, which is what this whole game is about, and what? And it's gonna happen again. Or, and this is where the consciousness comes in, and this is where the awakening comes in. You can understand how the game operates. It gives us an illusion of a game because they created something for us to participate, to trigger us, to send us into situations where we're gonna react, we're gonna get pissed off, we're gonna get angry, we're gonna go through misery. All those things are going to create emotions that are, well, not particularly great, right? They love it. They love it. They are not interested in love. They're not interested in kindness, in those things, because this is not their food. Their food is different. So you see, this is why even if you look at the last 3 years, right? In the last 3 years, we have one fear campaign after another. Why? Well, we know. Exactly.
It's funny. It's interesting that it's almost like we're basically algorithms. We've been programmed. We have these certain algorithms running through us, and that concept really kind of ties in with when you research the NDEs, the near death experiences, and people that come back, and they're often or pre-birth experiences where they're told their life scripts, where they're literally choosing a body, they're choosing they're given a set of circumstances, and that must be generated by some kind of AI and then embedded into the being, and then they come and they play that out.
Exactly.
So understanding that is understanding the nature of this reality also helps to shield us when we pass, because hopefully we don't get caught up in all of that again. But also the other thing that sort of ties in with what I speak about in my work is just the whole concept of the transmitter receiver, the pineal gland, which I say is an implant.
Sure.
It might be there physically, but I describe it as like a tuner, and it tunes us into all the things that you're talking about in all the matrix concepts and everything like that, the mind control. So it was really interesting to hear you say that as well. And I just took a note of that film, The 13th Floor. I've not heard about it, but I'm gonna.
It's quite an old one. I think it's from '99.
Right. Okay.
And you see, it's very interesting. Even the title. I need to come back to the points that you made. Very good points there. But on the 13th floor, you see how very interesting. The 13th floor. Why 13th and not 6 or 8 or 27th? Well, because back again, they tell us the whole thing. This is the most funny thing. When you read the Gnostic text, right? Read Pistis Sophia. What's in Pistis Sophia? Well, in Pistis Sophia, we have the description of 12 aeons, which the 12 aeons are linked to the 12 constellations. And then Pistis Sophia, Venus, is of the 13th aeon, which is ultimately like the way out. So the first, and she, Pistis Sophia, right? She gets, there is a sort of an element of her being pulled down into those 12 aeons, but she's not of them, which is a very nice parallel to the fact that Venus has been caught into the zodiacal net, but Venus actually works for us, works for humanity in that good context, not in a we've had the Moon versus Venus discussion before, right? So this is such a nice parallel, and here it is, a movie called 13th Floor, as in 13th level, back exactly directly into Piscis Sophia, the 12 aeons. You have the zodiac, the 13th floor, right? The 13th level is that kind of level where Sophia came from. Sophia, wisdom of the the ultimate wisdom, right? So here is the message. Here is another message, nicely coded, kind of blatantly in your face, but yet you have to kind of know your ways around it. And back to what you say, which is, you know, spot on. Look at the, if you look at the artwork and the mythology from Sumer, from the Egypt, there's a lot of it showing the pine, right? They holding the pine, or there's pine in all of those sculptures, etc. What the pineal gland, they need it. They need it.
Can I just add something to that as
Sure.
well? Because it ties in with the New Age, because in the New Age, they promote the pineal gland as something really good, that you need to, you know, detox it and everything like that. And it's just, it's just more deception. It's just more BS, because, you know, like the chakras, it's just an implant and it's being used against us. And I often see people sharing all this stuff about the pineal, like it's how it's this wonderful thing, and it's like the gateway to everything. But it literally just tunes you into this matrix. Like we go way beyond this matrix, and so it's really important to understand what that actually is. And it just ties in perfectly with what you've been saying there. So fascinating.
No, absolutely. I'm so with you. See, I mean, literally, this, guys, is the pineal gland, the goggles. I mean, of course, it's not physical, right? But that's what it does, because it's been tampered with. It's been tuned in. It's almost like we have this antenna, right? We are this antenna. We could be picking up on all sorts of realities, amazing realities, right? On all sorts of experiences, but somehow it's all the time doom and gloom. It's literally like on TV. I mean, you cannot escape it, right? On the news, you will never hear about anything uplifting. It's always doom and gloom. And this is how it works. It is tuned in to give you a picture of only a very, very narrow band, which we're gonna get to it, because the narrow band is called what? Well, Illuminati would know, the visible light.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to that. So
this is the other thing. Sorry, I'm butting in here now. Like the whole concept of light being such a good thing. I mean, it's you hear it everywhere, don't you? Love and light, the light tunnel at death.
Yeah.
Like there's something that I'm really starting to think, hang on a minute, I don't know if I trust this whole idea of light. Like, what the fuck is it? Do you know what I mean? So carry on. You were going to tie this in together. So
we're gonna tie it up. I just want to make sure that everybody's kind of with us on this concept, because I think it's critical to understand that, you see, I wouldn't go as far as saying that we are not real, nothing is real, everything is just some kind of computer game playing somewhere. I think that's what they want us to think. I don't personally subscribe to it. However, I do subscribe to this, as in, this is a fact. This is a fact that, you know, our lives are not kind of ours. They are a projection from where? Well, from this mechanism. If you want to have a look into what's in store for you, look at your astrology. But by the same token, I do not offer predictive astrology. I may have a little look into some energies coming your way, but I will not. I refuse to do predictive astrology. Why? Because that is deterministic. This is me plugging you even more into the matrix. So quite frankly, if you go to the tarot readers or, you know, any of those people kind of telling you what's going to happen in the future, especially if they're trying to tell you anything negative, they plug it into the matrix. They don't even know it. They don't even know probably where they're getting it, the information from. And mind you, if you are operating on autopilot, then yes, that's going to happen probably for you. And you're going to be happy with the reading because, you know, the tarot reader told you and then it happened. But, you know, what about you? What about your life and the creation, right? Well, there is no place for that in here. Why? I'll tell you why. Do you remember, I mean, Tony, we are, you know, we probably come from times when the computer games were much less advanced, right? And
Yeah, right.
I remember, I mean, I'm from Poland, so that's like, you know, 20 years behind the dinosaurs. So we would have those games. They were really the beginning of the era where you could kind of move. Maybe there would have been like 3 scenarios, right? So you can
up, down, left, right.
kind of, right? So
Yeah.
so as you play the game, you can see that really only one scenario is the one that takes you to the next level. But of course, I would be the rebel, and I would like to kind of push into that other scenario. But there was always what? Well, there was this there. You know, the end of the matrix. It was, so I couldn't go through that particular other option. There was only one. And a flavor of that is literally composed into our experience. This is why things are deterministic, because this reality only offers a limited number of possibilities. You know, that tree is not infinite. It's because we are all here. There is a limited space and limited time. You cannot do whatever you want if you are playing the game. This is why astrology works. This is why things are deterministic. Because
sorry, I'll let you finish your point.
Yeah, go. No, just to finish that, this is literally because you only have a limited number. Every single person only has limited number of options to move through, right?
Yeah, and actually, did you ever play the game PacMan? PacMan literally underpins that exact concept, because you're this character and you're being chased by these ghosts in the game,
right?
And you're eating as you go, but then you always end up somewhere back in the game, right? There's
right.
And also something like snakes and ladders as well. It really kind of you know, you're up and then you're back down again. So it feels like those kind of concepts that you're talking about.
And absolutely. So you see, this is where this determinism comes in. This is why, if you look at astrology, if you really look properly at astrology, which is the language of this fake construct, of their construct, this is not our reality. This is their reality that they want us to believe is real. And guess what? We do. We buy into it. And we live our life according to this. How? Because every single of those squares or cubes, that's a program. That's a program that we have received, whether that's culture, you are Polish, you're English, you are, you know, you're from this kind of family, you've received this amount of trauma. Oh, I have family patterns because, you know, my family, this and that happened. Oh, genes. Oh, genes are good ones as well. There's also, you know, oh, I have this in my genes, I'm gonna get sick like my mother, or, you know, the whole of my family runs in the family. Anything that's deterministic, anything that tells you, we should know that. We should know that. Anything that tells us that this is how it needs to be. This is what's going to happen to you, and nothing else can happen to you. Only this can happen to you. That's deterministic. That's nothing good. That cannot be, that, you know, that cannot be coming from the soul, which is infinite, right? I mean, if we are connected to something infinite, something unlimited, and if we are, and we are, right? I'm not speculating here. We are that. Look what a disservice we do to ourselves by believing, by buying into this delusion. And why do we buy into that? So we've been through here. We've seen how it's built, and you see, I don't know if you guys can see that, but if you really have a look at it, from a bit different perspective, they also show up as hexagons. So quite a lot of people talk about, oh, it's like, you know, it's like we are in a beehive. Everybody needs to be in some way the same, and it's all these hexagons, right? Well, this is a hexagon if you just look at the outer edges and ignore the inner edges. So that's
just a bit of a cult. That's also called the Hypercube. And if you notice in Mecca, they walk around the cube, and it actually.
We're getting there.
Oh, sorry, I've
no, go on, because look at that. Here I have it.
There you go. Yeah, mind control. Yeah, sorry, I should have just shut up. I got excited.
No. It's all good. It's all good. I just wanted to kind of, you know, why the hell am I even showing this? Because you know what? This is every single one of us. Every single one of us. We have much more abilities, capabilities. It's just that we have been caught in a net. And just like the sirens, like the mermaids, when they were caught, they would lose the abilities, or they would die. That's what we do. That's what's happening to us. You know, how many people would believe that the body doesn't have to be mortal? How many people can believe that? Nobody can believe that, right? Yeah. Or how many people can believe that you don't have to be sick? You don't have to be sick. It's another program. It's a program that we bought into, that we, you know, and of course, don't get me wrong, it's not all programs, because they are making us sick and they are poisoning us on every level. Why? Well, because, you know, we are so infinite that even though they caught us in a net, that memory, that feeling still remains. And this is the difference. This is why I always say, when people come to me, to my consultations, that, you know, the mind, do not try to think it, because this is mind control. So when we're talking about research and truth seeking, etc., if you just engage the mind, if you are just trying to connect the dots and be logical, analytical, etc., remember that you are very limited in that area, because it's literally, how do you know where it's even coming from? You're arriving at conclusions which are probably something that they want you to think. Yeah, go on.
No, and add to the fact that, you know, you can get entity interference trying to whisper in your ear, getting you to go down different paths, and AI implants and stuff like that. So yeah, it's the feeling as well.
Exactly. And you see, our birthright, or by design, by our essence, we are to feel, we are to connect to our intuition, however you want to call it, but the function is to come from inside, not from some kind of logic and processing information. This is why when she's caught in a net, right, when we are caught in a net, we lose those abilities. Why? Because we buy into the programming. And the programs are all sorts. It's religion, it's you know, where I come from, whatever trauma I've been to, and now I have to go and dig there till the end of my life. Well, you know, we buy into things that we really don't need to, or we shouldn't be. And this is exactly where let me try to move back here. So look at this, guys. This is the cube that I showed you on the previous picture. But when you unpack the cube onto the 2D, look what it looks like. So you see the story of Jesus, okay? And of course, no one's coming, okay? just in case somebody thought that I was trying to.
Wait, where is he?
No one's coming back here. The story of Jesus is about the story of personal empowerment, is a story of every single one of us to understand who we are. So here it is. Look at this cube which builds the matrix. It builds this reality, this virtual reality, not real, the one that they want us to perceive, makes us look. This is the cross. We are on a cross between heaven and earth. That's where this is playing out. So don't take everything in the Bible. And I'm not saying, mind you, they were doing it, right? They were putting people on crosses. That was normal in Roman Empire. That's how they were killing people. Okay. There is a more esoteric and spiritual meaning to it. Look at that. And look at this. Look at the cube. Look at the, right?
It's almost like the death of not just the person, but the sovereignty itself, you know.
Absolutely. That's what it is. Of course,
Human
that's what
sovereignty.
it is.
Yeah. And they probably knew that in Roman times when they were killing people like this, because, you know.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely. And you see what is this cube? What's this cube about? Well, the cube, right? In order for the cube to be representing something, to be representing this code or that, it contains information. It's contained data. So we are constantly receiving and processing data, right? Like a computer. This is a computer. This is a computer, but the problem is it's tuned in to the mechanism above us, giving us the false idea of what this reality is, giving us an experience the way they want us to perceive it. So this is packed with data. This is how they send, because this is literally right back to the first slides. They are sending certain frequencies, they broadcasting something. It is coming through the electromagnetic or electric waves. Our brain, which is also electric, it picks it up. This is the technology here. It's kind of as simple and as complicated as that. And you see, so here, what we really have is information. And for us, we can say that this is the programming, the programming that we would have received. And look at that. So this is obviously the cube, which is in Mecca. So the crowd in Mecca goes around and worships this cube, which, by the way, before I say wrong, it's called Bait Allah, which is this is the name of it. Look how interesting. It's called Bait Allah. And if anybody ever played with IT, we know that byte is a package of data, right?
Megabyte. Wow,
megabyte, byte, right? It depends how big. Kilobyte, byte.
Interesting.
Never an accident. Never an accident. Do not tell me that this is over-interpretation. No, it's not, because we know what this is. So what are they worshiping? They're worshiping AI.
Yeah.
What is the God? What is the archons? They're worshiping the archons that created the AI, and they call it God.
Wow.
So you see how funny, how amazing. I mean, honestly, kudos to them for what they pulled off.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
So I have a question, right? Because obviously now that they are very worried about, because I do think we have the potential to change what's going on here, because there wouldn't be all the censorship, and they wouldn't be panicking and throwing all these psyops. So do you feel like maybe the fabric of this matrix is getting weaker, or there's certain new coding? I don't want to come across as like new agey here, but
not totally with you. Yeah.
Certain codes that are like helping us to wake up from this kind of game that we're in.
Absolutely. I mean, you couldn't be closer to what I was going to talk about. So you see, we know about something called the glitch in a matrix, right? When something kind of happens, something doesn't work. So the net is starting to malfunction. We've seen that in the Matrix. We've seen that in this movie. When you guys watch it, you will see it always starts to malfunction. Something always happens, it starts to malfunction. And so just before I get to that, why is it not working? You see, this is back to that. Why is it that we cannot see it? Why is it that it's so easy for them to control it? Well, and this is to do with the fact that we are in prison The prison is here, and it is to do also with the eyes. It is to do with the visible spectrum. You know, probably anybody who owns a dog or a cat have had those experiences of a dog or a cat looking somewhere, you know, watching something, following something with their eyes, and then you look, there's nothing there. So we know that our perception is extremely limited. Even animals have much wider perception. We cannot smell fear, right? We cannot sense it or smell it. We can see it, as then if I look at someone's face, if I look at someone's reaction, but if I couldn't see the person, could I sense it or smell it? Probably not. The animals can. So where is that perception? Well, it's outside of what's available to us. And look at that. These are the wavelengths. So here on this spectrum, we have different ones, right? From the towers broadcasting, the phones, we have the X-rays, etc., etc. So from very long to the very, very short. And in that spectrum, there is the visible light, things that we actually can physically see, which what we believe is the reality. So we are literally held hostage in the light, in the visible light spectrum. And you see, Illuminati, how interesting, Illuminati, right? Well, they know about this. They know about it. Masonry know about it. You know, on the 33 is not the top, the 44th level of the Illuminati, the ones that you actually, of the Freemasonry, the ones that you don't ever hear about, they know exactly how this works. They know exactly what's the light about. And how do we know that? Well, we know that because, for example, even if you go to NASA website, right, we know about the existence of something called dark energy and dark matter. And even NASA says that that accounts for about 95% of the whole mass of universe, which means that matter, something that we actually perceive, that we deem that it has some kind of density or something that we can see, that is only 5%. So where is the rest? Well, where is the rest, right? Well, the rest is outside of the spectrum. That's where it is. Just because we cannot perceive it, does it mean it doesn't exist? Why is it called dark, opposed to light? Well, it's only because we are able to perceive our vibration, our ability to decode is so narrow. 0.005% of the whole spectrum is what we know, what we see. Come on.
We're blind almost.
We're blind. We are, you see, there is this infinite spectrum of possibility. And for us, we only see this much, which is always negative, right? Which is always generating something negative. I mean, of course, that we also gonna have some good experiences, because otherwise, I mean, come on, there's no fun for them in the game. But and it would be very difficult to continue with it. But it's very, very narrow bandwidth available to us. And this is what they are streaming onto us, and this is what we are picking up on and acting upon, right? This is what we are turning in our brains, in our mind, thanks to our third eye. This is what we turn into the reality as we perceive it. So good question, right? Is there anything that's going on? Because now more and more people are kind of in some way waking up or kind of connecting the dots. What's happening? Well, the interesting thing is, and like I say, today I'm wearing my engineering hat. If you look into the some of the scientific papers that's been coming out in recent years, it turns out that there is some kind of energy. They don't know, they cannot put their finger on it. What is this energy? But it has been exponentially growing over the past several years. And it's coming to us, right? And it's coming, part of it is the cosmic energy. Part of it is actually coming, it seems to be coming from literally from the earth. and whether you want to then, you know, link it to the Schumann resonance changing, right? But I think it's much more than just what the New Age Schumann resonance is about. This is the true meaning of it, but it is also the cosmic. And the interesting thing is that that energy is messing up the net. It's messing up those cubes that this reality is built from. Why? Frequency, not New Agey frequency, but physics. You see, if we are only perceiving certain narrow bandwidth, it means that they have to stream only certain frequencies to us. But the energy that's coming in is bringing the frequencies up, which means that their little mechanism cannot function anymore. So it is literally happening from sort of the cosmic and the from the earth. It is suddenly changing. Why? Well, this is where we kind of have to go back to those a little bit more esoteric things, but not just that. You see, we happen to be at a very, very important junction I would say in not just in history, but perhaps this is a one-off event where three major cycles in that cosmic context, three major cycles are aligning. One of them being the end of Kali Yuga, which of course the Vedic texts are kind of pointing into the early 2000s, if you want to translate it like that. But then we have the Mayan calendar ending, right? Talking about the end of the world, 2012. Well, I would say that in a cosmic context, these are minor error, minor differences, discrepancies between those two. So end of Kali Yuga, which is that lowest, the, you know, the era where it's just doom and gloom. So the only way is up from there. They don't like that. They don't like that. They cannot stop it. They cannot, you know, you cannot stop the energy. You can try to manipulate who's partaking in the event, which is what they are doing, which is what the past year has been about. The second one is the fact that we are standing at the, as I call it, standing at the gateway to Aquarius. And Aquarius is, well, in the esoteric tradition, it is connected to women. It is connected to that return of that feeling function, of that intuition. Aquarius, if you look at the way it's portrayed, by the way, Aquarius is not a man. It's again the Matrix sort of twisted the meaning and the story here. It's a woman holding a jar, right? Holding a chalice. This is how, for example, Mary Magdalena was portrayed, a woman with an alabaster jar, right? So she would anoint and the water of life would be pouring from there. What is the water of life? It is the energy that we're talking about here. So in this era, that energy is coming back. And on top of that, it's been now going on, mind you, it's been going on for some years. This is not like a one annual event, but during winter solstice, the sun, which is the portal, it is not masculine to begin with. No culture in the past considered sun masculine. It's a matrix, not even misinterpretation. It's on purpose. They change the meaning. The sun aligns with center of Milky Way galaxy. So the sun is around sort of 4, 5, 6 degrees of Sagittarius, which is where the black hole in the Milky Way galaxy is located. And the black hole, dark matter, dark energy, that energy is flowing from the black hole, containing what? Containing the original codes of creation, containing the codes which are shifting, lifting this energy here up. So this is the energy that you're talking about, sort of ripped, you know, away from any new agey flavor. It's science. It is. I'm literally talking about physics can measure it. Physicists don't know what the hell is this energy, because it's supposedly it's enormous, and it is to do with that black matter, well, black or dark matter, dark energy. Why is it really dark? No, it's not dark. It is dark for us. Why? Because we trapped being able to see very, very little. And it's just our vibration is not even, you know, the way we are held back by this mechanism. We're not even able to understand or perceive what it is that's coming. So this is the good news.
Yeah, interesting. And I'm sure that humans, as we become more expanded, are helping as well. I think we're playing a part in that as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And you see, this is the part that we are playing. Women are playing a very big part. Like I say, it's kind of time for women to be driving the shift from, you know, moving people from the head, from that head operated, you know, the logic, and look at that, wherever you look, what's going on, it's that logic, IQ, thinking, programming, virtual world. Yeah, forget about the feelings, forget about connecting to nature, connecting to something natural. No, stay at home, be in your virtual world, be in your IQ, and that's where they want us to stay. So it is the time to actually do the opposite. It is the time to reconnect. And you see, when you think about what did they do in the last 3 years? Well, what they try to do, when I'm talking about this energy coming in, this energy is what? Well, it's light, as in not the bad light, but it is energy. These are the codes. They need to connect with something. Well, what is it being received by? It's being received by our DNA. Yeah, so now you have an answer why they were trying to mess up our DNA with the vax, right?
Just another interesting thing about the matrix glitching. There's so many, I don't know if you've seen them, probably you have. There's so many videos out now of people filming like where a plane will just be stuck in the sky, not moving anywhere, just like stuck there, or just all this weird, or a plane just coming into land and it's just stuck there, or two people have appeared in the same seat and then one's just disappeared. Like there's all these glitches going on in real time. And more of these videos are coming out now where you're actually seeing this thing break down. And I think because I mean, I could talk to you all day. I've already decided we need to do a part 2 to this because I haven't got time now to go into it much more of this. But yeah, it's fascinating. So, is there anything that you want to just sort of finish up on or wrap it up on?
I mean, absolutely. And I've seen some of those videos. I've also seen some of those that you can adjust, I think, the brightness, etc., the black point or whatever on your phone as you are pointing at the sky. And you literally start seeing this whole AI structure. It's like it is.
I saw that. It literally looks like a motherboard. Someone took a picture, they were in like Iowa or something, and there was like a motherboard in the sky, like this chip. It's like crazy.
So you see, it is really starting to be more and more visible. And of course, you know, we are at the forefront because we know what to look for, and we are not busy believing the propaganda. So we are the ones that will be seeing more and more of that. But it is really happening. And you see, they are even ahead of us, right? They are in terms of they know what's coming. So this is why they prepared the last 3 years, because they knew that they couldn't stop this energy. They cannot stop what's happening. What they can do is they can try to manipulate something with us so that we cannot receive it, we cannot benefit from it. So you see, they're trying to tighten the prison around us because they cannot stop what's happening. They cannot stop the cycles, they cannot stop the cosmic energies that they have nothing to do about. So they are trying to go after us again. But you see, all this is really, really working in our favor. And I would absolutely invite people not to buy into the this propaganda. Do not even, you see, try to even limit your exposure to it. I think we spent enough time being all the time on Facebook reading, you know, there was a lot of things over the last 3 years. I mean, we were all meant to be forced vax, right? We were all meant to have vax passports by now. That's not happening. That was in the truthers community, right? Everybody was talking about it. It didn't happen. So there is a lot of propaganda to scare, to sort of send us down a certain path. We need to stop engaging into that and literally start unpeeling those programs. Do not engage in that game. Find out what your programs are. What is the programming that you've received? And you know, you don't have to do an astrology reading for that. Just if you have discernment, if you have some kind of ability to sit with yourself, be honest about, you know, where is it that your decisions are coming from, which are in any way deterministic or limiting.
Yeah.
Don't buy into that.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to leave it. I think ultimately they are scared, and we seem to forget that, and we seem to give them way too much power, and they're trying to hijack whatever's going on now. And this isn't like you say, a new age, just think love and light and ignore everything. No, we still have to be active and take part. But I think, like you say, a lot of what they've tried. I mean, this war as well. That doesn't seem to be. It always seems to be like it's about to kick off. I mean, I don't want to speak too soon, but it doesn't seem to be happening. I think people seem to be ignoring it a lot. So yeah, maybe whatever they're trying is just not working for them. So
yeah, and you know, you know that they will be turning up the volume, right? So there's obviously now it's the time for the banking drama. Soon there will be time for the blue beams. You know, there will be time to try to halt all the international travel, the long distance travel. They will try a lot of those things, but by the same token, like I say, there was a lot that we were afraid of, or we were told that was going to happen. And I'm talking the truthers community, right? And it didn't happen. So something is definitely messing up with their plans. So
good. And I think, yeah, like also we're messing up their plans as
well. Exactly. We are messing up those plans, right? This energy, great, but this energy is coming for us to be able to stop responding, to understand this whole mechanism. Let me maybe get out of here and get back on. There you go. This I just forgot about that.
That's all right.
This energy is for us. It happens to be a cosmic event. Okay, great, but it is working on us. You know, a lot of us are still absolutely capable to receive it, and I think the fact that we're having these conversations and more people are seeing through the nonsense is literally the testimony to the fact that yes, something is happening, and we are ripping it from inside out. There's obviously a lot of work that everybody needs to do, because stepping outside of those programs, I mean, you know, there is no jumping over that. You gotta do it, right? You gotta do the work. But at least we're starting to understand what the hell is going on.
Brilliant. Ola, you just broke that down like a boss. I swear, like that was amazing. Like I was just so enamored by what you were saying. So thank you so much for all your research, sharing that. We're going to do a part 2 probably, if you're free, in a few weeks or so. Just before we go, where can people find you again? How do they contact you?
Sure. If anybody would like to come and maybe try to find out how to get out of the matrix programming, then you can find me at www.selfmasteryquest, because that's what it is about.com. So yeah, please reach out. You can also send me an email. Just say, you know, how you feel about what we're talking about here. And guys, can I just mention one more thing? Because because this is really my new baby or potential baby. You see, when I had that first interview with you, it was absolutely amazing, and I've met so many people, and ever since it's been so many wonderful people. Honestly, I think that the biggest problem is that you guys don't know about each other, and it's plenty of you with amazing ideas, like really cool, amazing people, not the kind of new agey, but the real, truly awakened people. And what I would like to do is to like give a platform, because a lot of those people have amazing ideas, or they would like to start some kind of business or some projects, literally, you know, in line with their purpose, so trying to step outside of this whole enslavement construct. But it would be amazing if you guys knew each other, because I know all of you, I've met everybody, but I think it would be great if people also could cooperate. So not another Facebook group where people just send memes and nothing happens, but actually a platform where you guys can meet each other and perhaps cooperate, or maybe kick off something together, meet each other. If you are interested, please let me know and I will just get this going.
Great. Thank you so much again. And yeah, we'll speak to you soon again, Ola.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and see you next time.
Bye-bye.